Good morning, everybody. It's Martin, and welcome to the very first, and what have I called it? The 5-minute sales strategy snapshot. So I'm just going to push my button because I want to be done and dusted in 5 minutes. And today, what we're going to talk about is setting annual sales and revenue targets. Because the one thing that I see, especially in small to medium-sized businesses, is that they don't give their sales and they don't give their sales budget any due care at all. And when you think about it, it is the one thing, it is the most important thing that businesses must do because it's your roadmap for the next 12 months for absolutely everything. Without sales, without revenue, you've got no talent, you've got no expenses, you've got no wages, you've got nothing. And so it's something you don't want to throw together at the last minute. You know, my business name is not Sales Lucky. It's not Sales Hope. It's the Sales Strategist. And behind every great sales budget, there is a strategy. So I'm going to share my screen with you now, and we're going to get into it with 4 minutes to go. Okay, let's see how we go. Annual sales budgets. So first data point. So a lot of businesses will start with last year's performance, and then they'll add on a percentage. They'll look into the crystal ball. They'll get a gut feeling. You'll, based on historical data, you'll look at market conditions and you'll come up with a number. Let's say your sales revenue was $1 million last year. Maybe you'll put your finger in the air, and all going well, you're going to think, you know what, 10% growth is about right for us. Let's get to 1.1 this year. And that's how a lot of budgets are formed. Remember, sales strategy. Number two, what I then like to do is prove that by building a budget from the ground up. And you can do that in a number of ways: by client, by product, by dollar spend, and by client type. And this is where you're going to get your second data point. I'm going to drill down on this just a little bit for you. So for example, if you have a relatively small amount of customers, let's say up to 200, what I would do is I'd split them into the 80-20 rule. I'd go over each individual customer, review what their spend was last year, have a look at what their historical increases have been over the journey, and then I actually pick up the phone and I chat with the client. Hey, Mr. Customer, based on what you did last year, this is what it was. What are you feeling in regards to your business this year? And what does that look like? And set the sales budget with the client per budget. And we're going to talk about that next week because that's very strong when it comes to talking about KPIs. Now, a second way you can do it is by product. So for example, if you don't have thousands of line items, if you've got, say, under 300 line items, you can budget by unit numbers. Again, selecting the 80-20, 80% of your business, usually from 20% of your line items. Review last year's data, historical increase, come up with unit numbers that you're going to sell of each of those products, then add a dollar value to it, convert it to dollars. Third way you can do it is by dollar spend. And I'm talking for large client numbers. Let's say you have 500 or more customers and it's just a physical impossibility to get around and do it all individually. I break them up into groups. What's your top 50? Your 50 to 150, 151 to 300. Put them into groups. Then again, review last year's historical data, go for the historical increase, have a look at the marketplace, what's it's doing. You can actually do very well by sales budgeting by dollar spend. In each of these categories, then you want to add in new business. So are you bringing in new line items? Are you intending on onboarding new customers? Are you anticipating sales growth across some of those sales categories and getting very clear on what they are? Now what you have is you've got data point number one, which is the gut feel, the crystal ball, the percentage increase. And you've got data point number two, which is your budget that's been built from the ground up, 2 and 3 together. What's the variance? You know, in my experience, I've always found that data point number two, when you're actually constructing a budget from the ground up, that is the most accurate way to plan your sales and revenue targets. The real great thing about this is when we talk about next week, what that enables you to do is then it enables you to set very finely attuned action-based KPIs for your sales team. Now, anyone out there that hasn't yet started working on your sales and revenue budget for the 2022-23 financial year, it's coming up. in 31 days. Yes, that's right. It's very, very close. So get on it, construct it from the ground up. And if anyone, this has been a very short brief. We've got 2 seconds left. If anyone needs any more information, reach out. Happy to chat. And see you next week when we're talking about setting action-based KPIs. From my sales heart to yours, remember, a sales fit business is a healthy business. Ciao for now.